The two banes of all adult existence, and that is doing your taxes and also reading your goddamn contract. Welcome back to Solo Quest. Today we're going to talk about the 5 most important things before you sign into your ESL teaching contract. Welcome back to the Adventurers. For new viewers out there, my name is Solo Quest and I've been living and working in China for about 6 years so far. As you can see here from a 2 bald spot in my head, these are not stolen valor. These are for all the stresses that I've been through from working in China, and I have a lot to talk about. And I usually make videos about how to survive out here in China for a new ESL teacher, but from time to time, I do make some videos about niche places that others haven't yet truly covered. Now, if you're interested in those type of video, you can click like or either subscribe, and that way the algorithm can recommend you the best video for you. Or either comment down below if you have any other question. I'll try to reply to you as soon as possible. Now, if you click on any of the 3 buttons down below, my boy Vivi and Fafa will ever be truly so grateful, because these are the only type of food that we consume. Now, again, thanks for the like, subscribe, or share, or probably comments, and continue on to the video. Now, the quick answer is basically everything in the negotiation table should stay in the contract as well. And the most important thing is, of course, your salary. The number should be correct as it is as a negotiation or either the e-contract. Now, of course, there are sometimes there'll be an intentional mistake. You know, they didn't really fix it up or you didn't really check it, and this will be really messy in the future, so make sure you get that corrected there and now. Another part to this, always get yourself a type of bonus, either flight bonus or signing bonus or some other type of bonus. But if you'd like to know more about what type of bonus that you can probably get within your contract and some other things that you should watch out for, continue on to the video. And before we continue on to the video, this is not about any specific contract, but this is a general idea what an ESL contract look like, what you can probably get from this type of profession. And this is not just a given. Just because I said you're going to get this bonus, it doesn't mean that you're going to get this bonus. It's up to you to negotiate. It is up to you to max out your profession, skill, or either experience, so that way you can get the best deal for you. Again, you are a product, unfortunately. I mean, this sounds kind of bleak, but the better product gets the better price. Yeah. Now, the first thing when it comes to ESL contract, there is both English and Chinese translation. So you don't really have to worry of not understanding what the contract is. And typically you are beholden to the English translation of the contract, not the Chinese translation. So in case if there are any other misunderstanding, it should be within the English contract, not the Chinese contract. So make sure you know the contract from the back of your head, and that way you have a best understanding of what your situation is like for the year. Now, the typical contract is about 1 or either 2 years. There are benefits and also downside to each type of contract, but I would say most contract falls under the 1 year type of deal, because this is the safest for the company and also you. Unless if you already have sufficient experience and the company know that you can probably get any school that you want, they would probably try to push you for a 2-year contract. And typically once you already signed everything, the company gets 1 copy and you also get a copy as well. And both are signed with this little red thumbprint to it to make sure that it's legit and both parties have read it. Now, with those basic understanding out of the way, let's talk a bit more about e-contract. Now, e-contract is basically a contract that you sign before you enter China. And typically these are kind of legit, but not 100% legit until you sign the hard copy contract. Now, make sure when you are on the table and you're signing the hard copy contract, everything should be the same as it is in the e-contract. Although some wordings can change a bit, but make sure the understanding is also the same, because a couple of words sprinkled here, a couple of words deleted there can change the whole meaning of the clause, and this could actually F you over in the future. So make sure you double check everything. Everything should be the same as it is in the e-contract. The part with this whole salary deal, take into consideration on when you're going to be arriving in China, because depending on what day that you're going to be arriving, your salary for that current month could actually be cut in half as well. But actually, here's another great part to this. Make sure to ask your company whether you're going to get the salary within that exact month or is it going to be delayed by 1 month. A lot of expat got thrown into the river just because they thought they're gonna get that money for that exact month and they think they can get by with it. But no, most salary out here is delayed by 1 month. Good example of this is the story that I had on my very first year in China, because I came in the half of May, like around the 20th, around there somewhere. I thought I was going to be getting a full salary. Here's the surprise. I'm actually getting none at all, because that May salary was actually cut in half, but even better, delayed until next month. So that means I'm gonna get the May salary on June, but even better, it's also gonna be cut in half because I came in half of that month, and that means that contract started there. So be aware of your financial situation, bring enough, get that nest egg money before coming to China, because actually that most people that do come here in China are usually just barely graduating or either trying to get started in life and want to have an adventure and actually going to be in debt with the company because you actually asked for some loan. Let's move on to the cherry on top of the ice cream, and that is the benefits. Everybody loves those good old benefit extra money. The thing is with benefit, it's not just a given. Like just because someone gets this type of benefit or either bonus, it doesn't mean that you're going to get it as well. You have to know what your worth are and also negotiate the hell out of your freaking contract, because over here, you're technically like a contractor. Every year you have a different type of contract and different kind of benefit depending on your experience and your negotiation skill. It's not just a given that you're going to be getting like a 300 RMB bonus just because you already worked here for 2 years. You kind of have to actually work for it. And I heard some other horror stories where expat stayed stagnant for 3 whole years because he didn't negotiate at all. And the company thinks, hey, I'm getting extra money. It's all good. This guy's not a big fuss. Let's just keep milking off some of this good old cash from him. The thing I'm trying to get to you is that try to negotiate on everything. And the worst that they can say, probably a no. Now, the typical bonus that you could probably get out of this profession is typically the flight bonus, signing or rather renewal bonus, and the last part is accommodation. Now, of course, it all truly depends on how big or small the company is. Bigger company, more bonus, smaller company, it's all right, but still give you some type of like incentive to join them. Now, first, flight bonus. If you are from your hometown and then they fly you up to China, then you don't really get this bonus because they already paid for a flight ticket. But if you already are within China and you just found a job in China, then they'll give you a bonus of a flight ticket. Depending on the company, you can get more or either less. And the second one is signing bonus. Typically, these are for more experienced expat out there trying to find a job. They would entice you to join their company and give you an extra bonus just to sign that beautiful piece of paper. Now, again, this all depends on your negotiation skill. This is not a given. And third, accommodation. There are 2 types of accommodation. First one is when you enter China. Typically, a company would pay about 1 to 2 weeks of accommodation for you to kind of soft land to China because you haven't yet found your apartment. And if you negotiate well, you can actually get a better hotel or either a better spot that is near your workplace. And the second type of accommodation is paid accommodation to stay in China. Although nowadays it's not really a big practice, but you can get extra money for your accommodation per month, or either the company would pay for an apartment to stay in China. Of course, it all depends on how well you negotiate, but typically they would just pay for 1 or 2 weeks for your hotel for a lot of first year out there. Right, now let's talk about the most important clause, and that is the exit clause. Now, why is the exit clause the most important clause? If you watched my previous video, you need a type of exit plan in case if things don't go well or both you or the company don't see eye to eye. Because the thing is, you are diving into the unknown. This is a place you don't understand the language, you don't understand the culture, you don't understand how things works out here. You are just believing in one person's word and an e-contract on how things works out here. And in case if they try to kind of, pull a little string out of your eye or either switch up some words, you need a way out. What do I mean by way out? Let's talk about the 3 days grace. Now, what exactly is a 3 days grace? Basically, it's a way for a company to null your contract, or either you null the contract if things doesn't work out within 3 days of you signing the contract. Now, this is of course not really much of a common practice. You kind of have to negotiate with it, or either the company don't really want to take risk on you. And typically this is more common to a lot of first year expat out here, because the thing is, you get accepted to China based off the recruiter and also the interview process. It doesn't mean they understand fully who you are because you haven't yet met person to person yet. So sometimes things doesn't just work out. Some people have different ideas of teaching or either the way they work, and it doesn't really connect with the whole company culture. And the thing is, school nowadays are really picky when it comes to foreign teacher. So this is a big risk the company is taking, because the thing is, if you don't have a school to be accepted in or either a training center, the company is actually bleeding out money per month to have you stay in China. The only reason they stay afloat is because you are able to get a job in a school or either training center, and they can siphon off a bit of your salary into the company. Now, the thing is, this can also benefit you as well as a first year expat in China, because the thing is, you are in a new place and you're not really sure what your life is going to be like here. Although you saw some YouTube video, but you haven't yet stepped a foot in here. Sometimes you feel homesick, or either the life ain't just for you, or perhaps the work life here is just too crazy and you just can't really handle it. Now, one of my funny story that I had is one of my intake group left China on his second day. Guess what his reason was? That's right. The chicken nugget here in McDonald's doesn't taste the same as it is back in the States, and he just felt homesick and he needs to leave now. But I was just surprised. The next day he was just ranting on how much he hates the food here and he wants to go back home. But yeah, things happen. And the last thing that you should look out for in your contract is also the exit clause again. Now, the main reason why I want to talk about this is to understand a bit more of your company without actually being in the company for a whole year. Because an exit clause actually tells a lot about a certain company than you should probably think about. Here are some of the things that you should look at in those exit clause. How long does it take for you to give notice to the company in case if you want to leave early within your contract? 2 months, 4 months, 5 months, or either you have to pay an exit penalty if you break your contract. For example, you have to pay 2 or 3 times your current salary to the company as a damage reimbursement, or either you have to pay back some other type of penalty fee, something miscellaneous other than your salary. The main reason why I want you to really check on this is because depending on how many penalty that they give out in case if you break your contract, also explain what their turnover rate is like. Because the thing is, with confident and trusted good companies, they're not really afraid for their employees to leave to another company because they are confident that they can take care of these ESL expats and both can profit from them teaching in China. So make sure to check out on those exit clause. Now, on the other side of the coin, I kind of feel for the company because on my very first year here in China, I see a lot of people jump into these mainstream company and then break their contract as soon as they enter China. But what I'm trying to say, that's the reason why they have the exit clause in the first place, because sometimes people do take advantage of that. But if it's a ridiculous exit clause where you have to put in a 6 months notice, I understand I look quite dashing right now in my white beater, but I forgot to record the last part. But in conclusion, make sure to double check your e-contract and also your physical contract once you arrive in China. Because the thing is, some word deleted there, some word sprinkled here and there can change the whole clause and actually can mess you up in the future. So double check everything and try to read your contract and make sure you memorize every alphabet, every word, every clause, because this will dictate your life in China. You'll have a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract depending how good you are, because if the company likes you, typically they'll push for a 2-year contract and you actually get paid more as well. Now, talking about getting paid, make sure you know when you're going to be arriving in China. If you're going to be arriving in the middle of the month, end of the month, or either beginning of the month, this can also affect your paycheck for the next month. Because the reason I said next month is because this month you're not going to be getting paid. You're going to get paid this month's salary on next month. So make sure you prepare your nest egg, bring enough to get your first apartment, get ready and stuff like that, because your first month here, ooh, man, it's gonna be fun. There are many type of benefits you can possibly receive, but the most common one is flight ticket, renewal bonus, or either signing bonus, and the last one is accommodation. Now, everybody think these type of benefits are a given in every other contract, but you kind of have to negotiate for yourself in order to get these type of benefit. And if the company is actually gracious enough, they'll just put it on the contract. But some companies would try to push for no benefits at all, and some people would probably just take it. Now, try to negotiate. I understand this feels uncomfortable, but what's the worst they can say? No. Let's do this instead. Yes, that's right. Now that you heard it from me, it doesn't sound as scary. And the thing is, both of you guys want each other. It's like two people trying to get to prom, but they're just too shy to find out how to ask each other out. So try to find the middle ground for both of y'all to be happy, and I'm pretty sure both of you guys can make business out of this. And the last thing that I really want you to double, triple, quadruple check is the exit clause. I can't say for any specific contract because every contract is different, but try to ask them for a 3 days grace in case if things don't do really well and you can't really find a school, how are you going to get out of it, and try to discuss that and make sure to see if there are no school that's willing to accept you, are they willing to pay you back to get back to your hometown, or you have to buy your own plane ticket. So make sure everything there is sorted out. And another thing about this exit clause, you can actually check what companies like based off their exit clause. A confident company that takes care of the employee are not quite scared about their employee leaving, so their exit clause isn't that too harsh. But a smaller company that's afraid or either the turnover rate is high, typically they would have a crazy exit clause, such as like paying 4 times your salary, or either you have to give a 6-month notice in order for you to quit. That's technically half a semester. But what I'm trying to say is double, triple, quadruple, quintuple check your contract, and you can see everything through the contract. You can see the future. But yeah, continue on to the outro. Now, as much as I want to rant for another 20 minutes or so, I felt like this is a great stopping point for now. And if you want to know more about contract, comment down below. I can probably make a part 2 out of this. And as per usual, if you have any questions, comment down below. I'll try to reply to you as soon as possible. And yeah, that's a whole about it. 5 things that you should look at in your contract. And that's it for today's NPC balding rant. Until next time, SoloQuest logging out. Peace.